How many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's going to be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win.
Lamont wins the rematch?
Nah, I don't think he wins the rematch.
Takes it more seriously this time?
I think he takes it more serious. I think he now is in the ring with him, and I think he beats him much more.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is turning up the heat ahead of his highly anticipated rematch with Lamont Roach Jr. on August 16th. Their first clash ended in a controversial draw, and Davis has since made it clear he's not satisfied with how things were left. Now he's ramping up his verbal assault, aiming directly at Roach's mindset and his team's response to the result. Taking to social media, Davis fired a pointed message. "Your soft self is just happy you didn't get put to sleep." Your dad was jumping up and down in the corner when you all made it to the 12th round. "Get out of here." The remark was a sharp jab at the Roach camp, suggesting that simply going the distance was seen as a victory on their end, something Davis interprets as a lack of confidence in winning outright. But the rhetoric hasn't stopped there. Davis has now made it clear that he has no intention of letting the judges decide the outcome this time. In a chilling follow-up, he warned, "This time I'm actually doing the job. I'm putting him out cold. No more close calls, no more debating. You either survive or you don't. He better be ready for the stretcher." It's a heavy promise. And coming from a fighter known for his knockout power, it carries real weight. Roach has been warned. Tank isn't just talking. He's hunting a statement finish.
Like the betting me that he gonna knock me out and stuff like that. That didn't go too well for him.
Did y'all bet?
Oh, we bet and we shook on it.
He paid up?
He changed his number.
Hasn't taken Davis's criticism lightly. He fired back with defiance and confidence, reminding fans that he took everything Tank had in their first fight and was still standing at the final bell. On social media, he dismissed the noise, saying, "Y'all think I care what you think I'm doing or not doing, LOL. Obviously what I'm doing is working for me. Can't wait to see the looks on y'all's faces again this summer." While Roach exudes confidence, critics argue his recent actions, especially what many saw as an excessive celebration after a draw, reflect a fighter satisfied with surviving rather than dominating. They question whether Roach is chasing greatness or simply proving he can hang in the ring with one of boxing's most feared punchers.
What you think? I'm mad because I felt like he didn't take it seriously. Like, I don't think for 1 second that Tank is going to lose the rematch. I think Tank is going to win the rematch. I feel like this reminds me of that Floyd fight when he fought Luis Chavez or something. I forget his name. But
still, the experts continue to discuss and forecast what they believe will occur. One of the most heated arguments in boxing has been rekindled by Joe Rogan's recent remarks. Was Lamont Roach really better than Gervonta Davis in their initial meeting? Since that fight on March 1st, when Davis, the knockout artist with an air of invincibility, was forced to kneel in the 9th round, following a stiff blow from Roach, the debate has been growing.
What's next for Tank? Where does he go from here? Is it a rematch or is he going to do something goofy?
This is why I don't like Tank and I could never really root for him. He got too much power, not physically. I'm talking about socially.
Yes.
Tank he don't have fans. Most people who claim they're a fan of Tank, they're really a groupie.
Yeah,
you're a groupie. Here's the thing: how many times I had a favorite fighter and they lost, and I let them take that accountability. Like I'm holding accountable. If you're my favorite fighter, I'm still holding you accountable. Yeah, if you do wrong, you do wrong. If you get slept, you get slept.
It was the type of incident that may change a fighter's reputation forever. A humiliating event in a sport where there is a very narrow gap between victory and failure. However, because the referee chose not to credit the knockdown, Davis was able to escape with a majority draw and maintain his perfect record.
The hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Okendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lied to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He hard.
He never One to back down from a contentious opinion, Rogan and comic Tom Segura shared their thoughts on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. Rogan, who was obviously displeased, analyzed the bout and Davis's performance in his own direct and blunt manner. Lamont Roach and he had that bout that ended in a draw, and it was a valid draw before Rogan leaned into a more critical assessment. One could even contend that Roach prevailed in that battle. This type of remark hurts, particularly when it comes from someone like Rogan, whose platform reaches millions of people and who has a lot of clout in the combat sports scene.
I just so happen to be a boxing fan that the fact that I do watch him fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really like boxing.
Are you open to immediate rematch?
In my contract, immediate rematch was signed. I signed for the immediate rematch when I signed for the first fight.
Right.
Just in case he lost or just in case it was a draw.
So when you got a rematch clause, how long we taking?
It's up to the A side and when they want to fight. So I'm thinking it's going to be soon. I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Let's say that.
What is soon to you? When you say soon to me, I'm thinking a month.
I'm thinking July.
I'm thinking July for sure.
The important thing here is the context. Davis's brutal knockouts and apparently unstoppable aura of force have been the foundation of his reputation. However, as Rogan said, every fighter ultimately encounters a wall, at which time the physical weapons that made them exceptional begin to lose their impact. In reference to other legendary figures in combat sports who have seen their supremacy, Rogan remarked, "There's a point where the greats just stop being what they were." Even the most devoted Tank fans can't deny that Davis's slip-up against Roach in the 9th round may have been that.
See, like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye.
This viewpoint is not only a fan theory. Fighters that have a stake in Davis's performance in his rematch with Roach, including as Shakur Stevenson, the current WBC lightweight champion, share it. Known for his own almost faultless technique, Stevenson has publicly acknowledged that he is concerned about Davis might not make it through a second round of the Roach test. Stevenson shared his reservations about hitting Kanda in an interview. "With the ring, I see rematches differently than most people do. Tank will need to be at the top of his game and beyond, because I understand what he is going through."
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
This is not only Stevenson's conjecture. He has seen Roach's might, sparred with him, and witnessed firsthand the sort of tenacity the opponent can bring to the ring. "It scares me that I will have the chance to battle Tank as an unbeaten fighter with Lamont Roach in front of him, because I know that they are the major fight." Stevenson persisted in implying that Davis's defeat would diminish the allure of a possible big showdown. Tank's ability to defeat Roach in the rematch is a calculated risk bet. However, Stevenson said, "I knew Roach wasn't going to get the decision in their first fight," implying that he had previously recognized Davis's weaknesses.
What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that, and he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
We got the rematch announced today with him and Lamont Roach. I think all
they announced it today?
So what do you think, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight?
I think it's dangerous for him to go back.
Stevenson is not alone, which is what makes his skepticism so appealing. His worries have been shared by other athletes and commentators who have pointed to that contentious 9th round as the point at which Davis's air of invincibility faltered. Roach, on the other hand, has accepted the position of the underdog and leaned into the story that he was robbed during the first battle. He has doubled down on his assertion that Davis isn't as unbeatable as the knockout statistics indicate, using this energy to fuel his training camp. For a champion, particularly one like Davis, who has built his career on intimidation and early finishes, it may be a hazardous attitude.
What does the rematch look like between Lamont and Gervonta, you think?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
You were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to begin with. Why was that?
I sparred with Lamont. I knew that he was a good fighter. He helped me get ready for the Oscar Valdez fight. And I knew his style, with Tank style, what he was going to be able to bring to the table. I knew it. So.
Did you really win 20 rounds?
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I won that much money.
How different does a rematch look in your opinion?
The stakes for the rematch are massive. Gervonta Davis isn't just defending his title, he's fighting to maintain his status atop the lightweight division and protect the aura that's made him one of boxing's most feared punchers. A second lackluster showing against Roach could send shockwaves through the sport, rattling his fan base and jeopardizing future high-profile matchups. This isn't just about legacy or money, it's about timing. A loss could derail the momentum toward a blockbuster fight with Shakur Stevenson. What was once a clash between two unbeaten stars could quickly lose its appeal, shifting the narrative from an epic showdown to a redemption arc for a fading contender. Promoters would face a tougher sell, and fans might start to question if Tank is still the unstoppable force he's been built up to be. For Davis, this fight is about far more than victory. It's about survival at the highest.
I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better, and I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas, in my opinion. But I think that Lamont Roach, I want to give a shout out to Lamont Roach for putting up such a amazing performance. We've never seen anyone stand.
The central plot point of Davis's career is now whether he can actually pass the Roach test twice. If he prevails, the skepticism will subside, the skeptics will stop talking, and the story of his supremacy will be told again. If he loses, however, it may be the start of a long, agonizing descent into the uncertain center of boxing. Level, where past winners fight to regain their previous splendor. As Rogan stated, everyone has a finite amount of opportunities to give their best effort, and the stakes could not be greater. August 16th may be Gervonta Davis's last opportunity to demonstrate that his greatest work is still.
Pause. When he punched me in my face, me, like, I was like, oh, that's all he got? Because he tried to punch me hard. And then one time we actually, like, in the ring was like, he said it to me first though. I hit him with a like flush body shot. He was like, man, that shit wasn't none. I thought you hit harder than that. I was like, nigga, I thought you hit harder than that. No, everybody you knocking out.
Boy Jones Jr., a legendary name in boxing, has shared his take on the highly anticipated Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch. Known for his sharp analysis and bold opinions, Jones believes Roach could surprise the world once again, but with a twist. I think Roach shocks the world again, Jones said, but the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, a different personality, different motivation. While Jones sees Roach putting on another strong performance, he also expects a more focused and dangerous Davis to enter the ring. I think Tank will be more dominant this time, he added. With both fighters aiming to prove a point, Jones predicts a rematch full of fire, strategy, and high stakes for both men.
Is that all the great fighters, when they have a controversial decision or a controversial night, they always go back to the scene of the crime and they make it right. Just to give a couple of examples, Floyd Mayweather versus Jose Luis Castillo, Floyd Mayweather versus Chino Maidana. I'll go back further, Roy Jones Jr. versus Montel Griffin, James Toney versus Montel Griffin.